Alright, keeping accurate records naman. Alright, so to keep an inventory at appropriate levels and ensure customer satisfaction, supply chains must maintain accurate records. If you remember, di ba, parang when we talked about the bullwhip effect, we created a phantom demand. So parang, alam ko na, di ba, parang gugustuhin ng mga taong ganito na ganyan. Just imagine if, I'm pretty sure kahit naman sino siguro sa atin, no, if we consider the pandemic happening and the government would require face shields, tayo rin bumili na tayo ng stock beforehand. Diba? I-resell natin yun at a higher price, diba? So I think that there it really happened naman for some people. Kaya, diba, nung napapansin na ng government na masyado mataas yung presyo binibenta, they had to step in na parang, oh, wait lang. And this is kind of like yung story natin from day one about hoarding, diba? Kapag masyado ka na mamataas yung inventory mo, diba, it causes inflation. Ganoon naman talaga yung nangyayari, diba? In fact, I remember last year, there was a news na, diba, nagkakaubusan na nung, what do you call that? Yung temperature gun. What was that? Basta yun, di ba? They were selling it for 4,000, 5,000 pesos. Eh, sa market, nasa 300, 400 lang siya. In fact, I know for a fact na ganun lang yung presyo kasi before the pandemic hit, umorder kami ng isa. So nagulat kami na they were selling it, ang pinakamababa yata nakita ko nun, even in Mercury Drug was 2,500 pesos. Tapos nakuha lang namin siya ng 250. I was like, sobra naman yung yung patong, no? But then again, the demand was there kasi, diba? So yan, yung mga ganyan, no? Anyways, going back here, so to keep inventory, accurate record keeping helps firm plan, control, and organize inventory so the right products are ordered to meet the customer demand. So sometimes yung mga companies then, no, they create that talaga, kind of like what I said nung sinabi natin yung examples about Jollibee and McDonald's, diba? Siyempre, mayroon silang product na aalisin, they will create a hype, gagawa sila ng demand so that pag hinanap na siya ng mga tao, parang hindi na makapagpigil, no? Tsaka nila i-release yung product and then people would go for it. Parang, oh, yun na, bumalik na si Twister Fries. Kind of like my story about Champ as well from yesterday, di ba? So, ganun din siya. Now, with this, let's talk about this naman. Going back to worksheet 10, list some targets and measures that lead to accurate record keeping. So how do we have accurate record keeping? Thermal scanner, and thank you, Sir Mike. Thermal scanner. Temperature gun. Sorry. Ayun. So how else can we improve our accuracy in record keeping? Yes, Ma'am G.
Sir, pag yung accurate na record keeping, actually, nahihirapan kami dyan eh. Halimbawa dun sa office supplies, di ba? Kahit sabihin namin na may index card and then meron kaming logbook, minsan may kulang, ganyan. Kasi minsan, kahit na kami na yung nag-dispense sa kanila or sa mga empleyado, ano pa rin eh, minsan hindi kami magbalanse.
Yes.
Pero we're using a logbook and meron din po kaming tinatawag na index card, sir. So, yun po.
Ayan, tama, no? I can relate kasi in a call center, ganyan din, no? We have a supplies cabinet. And in that supplies cabinet is a logbook. In that logbook, hindi lahat nagsasign. So, kunyari, kukuha ng 1 pen. Isang pencil na lang, di ba? Or ball pen. May kukuha lang, isa lang naman to eh. Hindi naman siguro mapapansin. Oo nga, hindi nga siya mapapansin. Pero, di ba, kung lahat tayo kumuha ng isang pen, ang iisipin natin, hindi naman mapapansin yun, wala na supply, di ba? Kung hindi natin ililista. So, there has to be, talaga, no, an inventory manager din naman. So, isang tao lang hahawak, like there was a time ako nag-manage, like 1 month yata yun. I managed the supplies cabinet. Kasi nga, ang nawawala naman sa amin, yung printouts, yung paper reams. So, hindi na, parang, I doubt naman kung may nag-uuwi. It's just that kapag ginagamit siya, di ba, parang hindi namin alam kung gaano kabilis, kung kumuha ba siya ulit or kung whoever. So, nung dumating nga yung time na na-realize namin marami tayong nawawala sa supplies cabinet, hindi nagpapaalam. So, nagkaroon kami ng, ng point person to approach, o ito lang yung tao na lalapitan mo para makontrol natin. Kasi nga, nawawalan ng reams. Hindi namin alam kung ginagawa nilang sausawan or I don't know. Di ba? Parang ginagawa nilang ingredients ng food. But still, di ba? May nawawalan ng items doon. Ma'am Isay?
Ganun din po, sir, yung sa sinabi nyo. Meron din po kaming point person dun sa department namin. At the same time, meron po kami talagang dinikit na sheet dun mismo sa may cabinet na po. Para hindi na po hanapin kung nasan yung logbook. Para talagang matatandaan po ng personnel na dapat pag kumuha siya, mag-log na po siya dun sa may mismong nakadikit na po sa cabinet, sir. Para hindi na po talaga makalimutan.
Ayan, correct. Lagay din kayo ng picture ni Sharon Cuneta, di ba? Balutin mo ako. Bawal kasi yun, para matandaan ng mga tao. Ayan. Ayun. Thank you, Awisay. Alright. Ayan, relate. Relate daw si Ma'am Isa din. Regular monitoring sample weekly. So, auditing, no? I mean, it can be very tedious. Kaya, instead of auditing the items that we have there, talagang one person, maybe two na lang, no? Depending on the shift na mamamahala dun sa supplies natin. Ayan. So, thank you. All right. Let's continue. What I want to share this time would be this naman, inventory calculator. Okay. So, the calculation is this. Turnover is equal to cost of goods divided by the average inventory. Okay. So, managers can use the above calculation to determine the average days in inventory using the calculation below. So, average days in inventory divided by or equal to 365 days for the year divided by the inventory turnover. Me proceed with this one. Ito naman our case study, no. This is let me go back to the manual so I can share it with you. Give me one moment. Ako rin, Ma'am G, hindi ako best in math. Hindi ko rin masyado maintindihan. So, hinayaan ko na kayo mag-solve. Okay. Case study on page 39. GIT Productions Incorporated manufactures novelty bags for retailers. Their sales are seasonal. The holiday seasons and special promotions are the bulk of their sales. They also make bags specifically for customers and some with themes from cartoon characters or recent events. Inventory management is a key piece in successful operations of this business. And fortunately, something they have not had a good handle on. Holidays are coming. They are anticipating sales to increase 10% from last year. They sold about 1 million bags to 50 customers last year. Their average inventory is 1 million pieces at an average cost of 0.20 per unit. And so that is our case study. Some ways to help this company manage its inventory. What method might be best to help set inventory levels? What can they do to keep accurate records? What are some best practices they might adopt? Lastly, recommend some predictions they might be able to make based on their record keeping naman. So, ayan. So, ano lang to, no? Parang we're assuming things here at this point. Now, given the information that we have, how do we answer this? Number one, and what are some ways to help this company manage its inventory? Ma'am Dali, ikaw, do you have ideas?
Sir, medyo ano siya kasi seasonal, no? Medyo mahirap. Parang kailangan ng research talaga. Siguro mag-survey muna sila kung ano ba yung demand ng market. Lalo na kung parang nagdidepende kasi sila kung ano yung demand ka. So siguro, yung trend na lang siguro, sir.
So historical.
Parang ganyan na lang. Tapos
Okay.
hindi na lang sir. Ay, ganun.
Sige, Ma'am Dali, thank you. Number 9, supply chain groups naman. Okay. So supply chains are complex relationships among groups that interact to move goods, products, and services from suppliers to the customers. In most instances, supply chains operate like networks rather than linear chains. And additionally, the relationships are more like partnerships in which members share the risks and the rewards. Types of groups involved in supply chain management include suppliers, producers, customers, and the customer's customers as well. And in most instances, supply chains operate like networks rather than linear chains. Yeah, no. And kind of like what we established from day one, it's all about the relationship that we build with them. Diba? Siyempre, mas maganda yung relationship, mas smooth yung transactions natin. Okay? Now, as for the suppliers, and the supplier in the supply chain is actually where the chain begins. The supplier provides raw materials and unfinished products that are converted into finished ones. Suppliers can also be at the beginning point of a stream of information. Supplier may also have suppliers or partners who provide raw materials. So hindi lang naman doon na natapos, no? Ang suppliers natin, meron din silang suppliers. So may pinagkukunan din naman talaga sila. Right? Yan. Now, type of supplier relationship. So meron kang tatlo dyan, no? At least for our examples, you have transactional, you have collaborative, and alliances. So transactional price is the focus, minimum time and energy is established here. Forecast and data not shared, better for online. So parang you buy it and that's it. You get the product, period. Very transactional. Yun lang yung goal niya, no? Collaborative is interdependent, trust building, there's communications, planning is important, there's continual improvement, a focus, and it has lower costs. Pero maganda dyan would be the last one, alliances. Institutional trust is established. Okay, ibig sabihin, they have a track record of delivering on time. You can trust them. Alam mo na, you know, these suppliers can give you, parang, o sige, wag mo munang bayaran, or maybe payment terms because they trust you as a client as well. Diba? Yung ganyan kind of relationship. Reduce market time, improve quality, business ethics are important. Again, this is where we would want to be, no? In a relationship with suppliers, to have had an alliance with them. Kasi it's beneficial for both from our side, you know, the consumers, and on their side as well as the supplier. Okay? Now, again, yung collaborative, balik lang tayo dun, no? It's important that we understand na, oh, okay, we have suppliers now who are suggesting na, mas maganda tong product na to versus dun sa in-order natin dati because mas mataas yung shelf life, kunyari, mas maganda yung quality, mas maganda yung value, diba? Mas may benefit siya compared to other items that is being ordered, no? So, yan. There. So, those are the types of supplier relationships naman. Next would be the producers. The producers are the members in a supply chain who design, manufacture goods, services, and products. Producers work directly with suppliers and customers as well as other third-party firms such as financiers, market research, technical consultants, delivery services, and distributors. And producers also must maintain adequate inventory levels and efficiencies in production to meet the customer demand. So they must ensure they produce quality products at a reasonable cost. Producers have a great responsibility within the supply chain since customers may deal directly with customers as well. Okay, and other terms that we learn here for supply chain. Producers naman. Okay, next, customers. We are all aware who these people are. Sometimes we are these customers as well. Parties in the supply chain who purchase the products, goods, or services. A supply chain can have many customers as well. So for instance, a producer is a customer of the supplier. Tama naman, di ba? Intermediate partners are customers for each other. Supply chain, the customer's demand drives production and inventory levels. Forecasting is based on the customer sales. Customer and consumer are interchangeable terms. So if you call them consumers, that's fine. Customers, fine. Consumer and supply chain choose the type and quality of purchases as well as select the appropriate suppliers. Kind of like what we talked about in day one about the economies of scale. Depende nilang kay consumer or kay customer kung bibili sila ng mahal na item that they can use for a longer time or something that is low quality that, you know, we can expect na papalitan siya na papalitan. More about customers. So you have competitive advantage and comparative advantage. Okay, these are synonyms for distinctive capabilities or competence. These terms mean relative superiority in skills and resources. Competitive advantage and differential advantage naman, synonyms for positional superiority. So now, parang let's not get caught too much on sounding a little technical. This is more of an FYI, no? They're good to know, especially when we're pertaining to a specific group of people in the supply chain lang. Okay, and then we have the customer's customers. Okay? The customers in a supply chain are sometimes referred to as the final customers. Right? They are the parties who purchase the final products. A big job of product developers and marketing is to influence the behavior of these customers, the consumers. Like Jollibee, balik tayo sa Jollibee example natin, no? Jollibee themselves are customers. They are consumers as well for whatever products the suppliers will give them. Diba? And eventually, the customers would be us. Tayo yung bumibili ng product from Jollibee rin naman. Diba? Ayan. Just so that we're clear on the terms here. Okay, are we good so far? Maybe we discussed a little bit more terms lang, no? Or, specifics in here. All right. Let's talk about our case study naman. Yan. Telecom One is a leading telecommunications equipment firm. Their product portfolio manufactures relatively expensive, highly engineered products that lack some features of their competitors. Telecom One is a pivotal point in its business in terms of how it will move forward. In a recent podcast and press conference, its CEO indicated the firm is at the brink of stormy weather as the company struggles to keep abreast industry changes and respond to customer demand. It struggles with high supplier costs and excessive inventory levels. Moreover, many of its processes are currently spread across a large enterprise, which affects lead time. Alam naman na natin yan, no? Di ba pag marami tayong pinagkukunan, syempre, tatagal yung delivery natin. That, or we're gonna have to put in more effort in it because we have to coordinate with a lot of points.